Okay, so this is Chris and Nikki restarting our
Take
call
two.
on January 7th. And we are excited to have the Chief Operating Officer of the whole company and a person that we're honored to have on, Sean Hopkins, long-term with the company, a young man, and he's leading the charge of this 50-year-old startup company. So over to you, Sean.
Hang on. I want to make sure I thank our HEAT NMDs and all of the people participating in these calls over the 20 years. We really appreciate all of your input and your activity. And now, Sean, I'm spotlighting you out in space. Whoops, it didn't work.
Well, we're having serious bandwidth issues here, but
wow.
My audio, because I've already been kicked once. So thanks for having me, guys. Sorry for the technical challenges with bandwidth. Sometimes we get throttled here. I'm at my home office, sitting on the edge of the world, and let's just jump into this mindset we have of really acting like a startup. To me, when we think back as to how we created this mindset, to me it was a decision that our CEO Paulo Teixeira made, and that was to really try to integrate how we were managing customer journey and partner journey in all countries around the world. I mean, you could pretty much watch it play by play on social media channels. So why should it be materially different from one country to another? And so we decided as a corporate team that we needed to create global teams. So we formed a global product team, a global sales team, a global marketing team, when previously we had functions internationally with separate companies kind of under license. So we never really had global structure to our team. That made a huge difference to form that team and to get together. And one of the biggest decisions Paulo made was to get help from the outside to function highly as an executive team, to help us become better teammates, better leaders, and we think better people. It's been coming on 5 years since we started that, and we continue that work, and we've cascaded that work down into our team to try to just create a better team culture here. And to me, that team is what created the appetite to do so many more new things, to really reimagine who we want to be, to continue to stand out 50 years in, to stand out with such a narrow and powerful product line, which to me, having a narrow product line was one of the best decisions we ever made. We knew from the beginning that we would be much better off to just make our products better and prove them more, that they would pack a punch. And that's a philosophy we plan on holding on to. And we plan on continuing to renovate our products. But one of the things that we think can really help is to add new and exciting narratives or new compelling stories around our existing products, or maybe around different combinations of products. And even also, we think our new frontier is going to be new services. So that's kind of this mindset that we created, and we have a strategic plan, and it's highly organized, and we've got a team that we're putting together. And as we turn the corner into 2019, we realized, well, this is a massive body of work that we've committed to. How are we going to get this work into the minds of our top field leaders around the world? And so early in 2019, we gathered with the founders, and we took them through the construct of this strategic plan. We kind of showed sneak peeks of it on stage in Austin, if you were there, or saw footage from that, where we showed this massive body of work that has a number of different, over 60 different hardened, serious initiatives that we plan on putting into play in the next 5 years to really continue to differentiate ourselves. And then in February with the founders, we said, let's pick 5 or 6 that are kind of near term and high impact. And we got to work with you, the founders, to kind of make them right and ready for launch. Just to fine tune them, speak in a better common language, and just constantly, in a lot of cases, just make things as simple as possible. So the big 3 are, in my mind, pricing, which we just went through, turning the corner into 2020, and our whole pricing model just had so much unnecessary complexity in my mind. And the new way we're doing things is just so much easier to learn, so much easier to share, so much easier to connect to the compensation plan. And we also did some rebalancing of product pricing so we could create some interesting new combinations of products, including the likes of our berry blend and Omega blend, which had been priced quite a bit higher than fruit and vegetable historically. And the next big one in my mind is the compensation plan. And that's what we are literally all hands on deck for right now. And we spent the better part of 2019 first working with the founders, but then presenting to all of our NMDs these initiatives and these big ones in Dallas. And in Dallas in May of 2019 was probably one of the most pivotal leadership events I've ever been part of, where never before had we shown so many people, 600 of them, so much information about what was to come with so much advance notice, right? Because we knew that first there was a lot of work to make things better together before we launched them. And there was a lot of acquaintance to be had in the leadership so that when we did launch, they could answer questions and they could be convicted about what all these ideas meant. And so we spent so much of 2019 working with NMD leaders to really just simplify and look at every word and every number of our compensation plan. And I think we've done a masterful job of taking that to a whole new level and really not only simplifying how it works, but creating simple collateral that explains how it works and attempting to explain things we had previously not attempted to explain. So taking on a whole new approach to really what the compensation plan is all about and what behaviors it drives. And it gave us a chance to kind of retool it to drive behaviors that are a little bit more towards driving sustainable engagement of people who really want to build a team, right? If there's any shift that we made in the tweaks of the compensation plan, it would be towards driving sustainable engagement of people who want to build a team. And the title rewards that we brought to the compensation plan, which are the rewards to achieve any of the titles, and we now have 12. We added 5 titles. We leveled those so that achievability from title to title was more attainable for people. We had identified some major pain points in some of those leaps to title. We think that's going to drive people's sustained engagement and have earlier wins, more wins, and sustained wins as they make their way up the compensation plan. And we know statistically that once we get them to senior sales coordinator, basically they don't leave. So much of our thinking is how can we get more people to levels where they just don't leave? And Jay has been talking for so long that you look at our sales coordinators and hire, and the percentage of those that have stayed with us over all these years, we could put up against really any company in any distribution model or any industry anywhere. So we're pretty proud of that, and I think we've done some great work to just really drive that conversion into those upper ranks, and then give people some targets to pursue above NMD. So 4 new titles above NMD with almost triple the rewards to get if you achieve those titles. One of the things we wanted to accomplish was to have a balance between some interesting and meaningful title rewards that was meaningful money, but in order to get them, you had to build a stout and strong and sustainable business that would ensure that you're paid handsomely if you could build that kind of business to those requirements. So those are the top 2. The next third initiative that we are working on is really a complete overhaul of our digital ecosystem. So what today is multiple properties that we send people to, juiceplus.com, the virtual office, the customer portal, all the other properties that we have imagined, they become one. So there's one URL, one destination. The only question is who's the person and where are they at in their journey? And how can we, in a personalized, highly customized way, meet them where they're at in their journey and help them get to where they want to go, right from being a prospect to the products all the way through to trying to go to the very top position in the company. And this has been a massive multi-million-dollar endeavor to put together. And we are on track to be in beta in April of this year. So we'll be showcasing it at the conference in the spring in Phoenix, and we'll be going into beta in April. And by the end of April, we'll be going live across the entire country and in the following months around the whole entire world. This is a whole new reveal of all of our properties put into one. So imagine one kind of world. Much simplicity there in an all new modern environment that will really allow us to really connect better with partners on their journey and customers on their journey. And we are super excited about what that will bring. One of the core kind of guiding principles about that whole the whole experience overall around being a partner is to try to improve the return on the time that people invest. So how can we make people feel like, wow, I just spent X number of hours a week, say 10 hours a week this month, and look at what I was able to produce in terms of productivity out of that, in terms of new customers brought in, new team brought in, new team advanced. And the systems that this ecosystem provides does a lot of the grunt work analysis for me that paints a kind of graphical picture of how things are going, and then provides me with the tools right in front of them to act on it. Right? So no more hiring your partner who's an Excel spreadsheet whiz to really download, monster data sets to crunch at what's critical to act on within that data around who needs to be nudged along their journey. So that's a big part of what we're thinking of in all of the things we build to support journey. Another thing is really simplicity of engagement. How can we make it easy for people to engage? So I talked about narratives earlier. We have a number of new narratives. There's really stories or spins or pitches that we wrap around our products. Historically, our stories have been underpinned by our own clinical research. And although that's been a major differentiator, we think there's opportunities outside that direct underpinning of that clinical research. By the way, we have 2 more published, so we're up to 40. Okay, and marketing team's working on all the collateral around that, but one of them is a continued bioavailability study that was done in Europe that really just continues to enhance deeper understanding of bioavailability. The other one is really a game changer, and we've been talking about it for a while. It's the one conducted at the University of Padua in Italy and the University of Colorado. And it is so compelling that we're going to have to really find ways that keep the regulatory bodies from banging on our door, because as hopefully if you've heard about this study, it's looking at the impact of healthcare cost reduction. It's a systematic study which looks at a body of our research. I think it's a dozen different studies, and it extrapolates statistically these outcomes, and it extrapolates out of, say, 12 studies that we've conducted on our own products, what the probable savings in healthcare cost would be over a certain period of time. And the numbers are astounding. And we're trying to find a way to say them without creating regulatory lightning rods. And the other one was risk reduction in major health concerns. So we always knew, we'll probably be able to say more in the US than anywhere else, but we always wanted to kind of find bigger subject matter, bigger names, and bigger impact. And guess what? We found a big one. So we're still pedal to the metal on research. Our Juice Plus Science Institute's well underway. You're going to see we have a location in Austria. We have staff. We have team. You're going to see a digital property come out for that to showcase the Juice Plus Science Institute, and they're the ones who are charged with managing our research ongoing, and we have enough underway to get us to 45. So, back to our stories, so many of our stories have been underpinned by our own research, and they will continue to be. We just think there's a way to create new, fresh, compelling stories around other ideas and maybe other combinations of products. So we call them bundles. So other different combinations of products that a customer might select at the point of sale. And that we believe would empower people to engage with prospective customers. And what we're thinking there is to create narratives that allow us to target by need, target by interest, target by age, target by other demographics and behavioral guidelines. So we can really help our partner field meet customers where they're at, right? And serve them with what they're interested in and what their needs drive. So that's kind of our new frontier. Services, I can't remember if I talked to services in take 2 or just take 1. Services, we think, is kind of the next frontier. And we've been scouring the earth for services. We hope to be able to reveal some of our ideas in the spring, but basically, we will likely introduce in 2020 some form of digital service that enhances our current offering with our products, right? So that our customers can have a service that would likely start by being something that's for free, but also become something that they would be willing to pay for, such that the value of that service was meaningful. So that's kind of our thinking strategically. New products, we have ideas. We like product renovation still. We actually like next best current products in new forms. So we have a couple of ideas that we're baking up there. And if you're a sales coordinator above, then maybe you heard about the trial we have around a product called Lift by Juice Plus, because in December we launched a trial for it. It's a product that's been in play in Europe this year. It's still underway to try to figure out exactly how to make it fit to our world. Generally, people quite like the product. We think we've nailed the product. We made the packaging a little bit too cool, and so it made it a little bit too expensive to make and a little bit too priced too highly. So we're working through a trial in the US right now. If you're a sales coordinator above and you haven't tried Lift, you can go in the virtual office and get one for you to try. And there's a series of surveys, a baseline survey that asks you what you know about this world, and a follow-up survey that asks you what you thought about the product experience. And really that's going to inform whether we proceed to launch it in the US and how we go about doing it and how we match that into our existing product offerings. So we're pretty excited about that. But we've also kind of created this mindset of, we call it activation mode. And that is like, historically as a company, we pretty much, built stuff in collaboration with the field, and we pretty much put it out there. And some people run with it, some people don't. What if we could partner more with the field leadership and go out there with the field and create kind of a campaign mindset or an activation mindset, where we could have a playbook of tactics that could go after a given idea? And one big one is Hispanic market penetration in the US, right? That is a underserved market for us. It has been for too long. And we've dipped our toe in here and there, kind of build it and they will come kind of thing. We've decided we're going to be much more proactive, and we're well underway with the playbook for Hispanic market penetration into the US. And you're going to see in the first 3 months of 2020 what our playbook is, and you're going to be able to participate with us, doing a better job at appealing to the Hispanic market with much better materials. There's already a ton of materials that have been identified to support journeys for customers and journeys for partners for the Hispanic market in the US. And speaking of markets and market expansion, maybe you've heard that we've this renewed appetite for new market expansion, geographical market expansion. So yes, we are opening Mexico as well. And we see lots of synergy with appealing to the Hispanic market in the US and appealing to the Mexicans in Mexico, and how the cross-border synergy will create there. So those two projects are in lockstep with each other. We're looking at April or May for Mexico to open, soft launch, get it right, and then get a plan in place to have leadership presence there so we can really crank it up and drive cross-border activity between the Hispanic market in the US and trying to build Mexico as a new market. Hopefully you've also heard that we've recently taken over Malaysia and Singapore from our very first master distributor partner. That's well underway to raise the standard to the Juice Plus way, and to become a kind of a foothold in Asia. And that will become kind of our Central Asian office, where we'll expand to other countries in the years to come. But we want to give a couple of years to really get those two markets up to spec. And the Malaysia office in Kuala Lumpur would kind of be like our London office in Europe, where you'd have centralized support for expansion in the Southeast Asia region to start with. We're also entering into some neighboring markets in Europe. That really makes sense for us from the infrastructure we have in place. So you're going to see us open Portugal early on in 2020. You're going to see us also open Romania. Believe it or not, we have several, PMDs. That's the new one of the new top titles. We have several PMDs that live in Romania. They're just cross-border business builders. They know enough people across the borders into markets we are in, but there's significant interest in our existing ranks to open Romania, and you're going to see us do that in the first quarter of 2020 as well. So hopefully this gives you a sense of the appetite we have. So much of what we want to do has digital underpinnings, so we have beefed up our resources around delivering digital assets, and you're going to see the first reveal of that at the conference. But we've created a whole new way of working within that team, in the technology world, they call it agile. So it's really that you want to attack smaller levels of effort but be nimble to adjust as you go, as opposed to try to think the whole thing through and build it over 3 years, and then 3 years in, it has to be redone again. So we've established this agile way of working with our IT department, our technology department, and we've integrated them with the business in a way that we've never done before to really create understanding between the two so that we can become agile and deploy things more swiftly. And that kind of executional excellence is something that I wake up thinking about every day. It's one thing to have this appetite to do this many things, but it's another thing to have the aptitude to actually get it done, right? And to pick the things that we think will make a difference. And one of the ways we're doing that is continuing to collaborate with the top leaders in the field. And I think that's one of the best things we did in 2019 to set ourselves up, was to really heighten the way we work with the field to make things right and ready. And in fact, tomorrow and Thursday, we have a workshop here at the World Headquarters where we invited the 2019 Elton Award winners and 2 of the founders who have been heavily involved in 2019 to work on all the initiatives. And we're conducting a point of sale workshop. We think there's significant simplicity to be had around our point of sale for the product and our point of sale for becoming a partner and all of the dynamics around that. And so you're going to see us talk about in the spring ideas around loyalty, for example, like meaningful loyalty offerings for customers to stay longer, right? Narratives as well we're working on, and a host of other ideas as to how we can really stimulate customer acquisition so that we can have more people come in the door and have them stay longer and have them, as a result, have a longer and more enriched experience on our products, but also to continue that journey to convert to becoming an active partner. So that whole journey is a 1.5-day workshop that's all day tomorrow and half day Thursday to really work together with top leaders in the field to refine the ideas we have, come up with new ones, and continue to execute them as swiftly as we can to get them into play to really make a difference in the market. So hopefully that gives you a sense of our thinking. There's 60-some initiatives, and we're trying to decide how fast we can throw them out there. We wonder whether we might be thinking about going too fast, and we might need to kind of prioritize and maybe give the field some time to take on these new ideas. It's likely the way we'll go, but the appetite we have is as big as it's ever been, and it's an exciting time to be in the company, to be so open to reimagining what we could take this to, and to really put our name in an even more deserving place on the map of not just direct selling, but the business of nutrition, right? Because we've done things that others haven't even contemplated, and we've done them over a longer period of time than they don't even thought possible. And here we are thinking we can, double our footprint around the world. So that's where our heads are, Chris and Nikki. Never been more excited to be part of the Juice Plus company. And I got 2 special guests here, if we're ready for that, who are in town for the workshop. We're going to see if their faces appear on my special virtual background. 2 fellow Canadians who are known to hopefully all of you. There's one guy on my left, Stephen, the Vice President of Sales for Canada, and right above me, Doug Arscott. Started in the Canadian office 28 or 9 years ago. Went on to become the Vice President of Sales in the U.S. for 8 or 10 years, COO in Europe, and is an owner in the Canadian Juice Plus company. So these guys are in town for the workshop, and I thought it'd be fun to have them kind of be surprise guests and share a couple of words on what they see coming into the Juice Plus world in 2020.
Great.
Look at my
face. It's pretty
Good.
awesome. All right. Hey, everybody. It's great to see everyone. I love Zoom to be able to scroll through and see all the faces. And Chris and Nikki, so good to see you. Happy New Year, everybody. I just sitting here and listening to Sean share his vision and the vision of the company, and to be around his energy as he's sharing this. I don't know if you're catching that vibe over Zoom or not, but he is vibrating and radiating such energy, and it's been incredible to be around it over the last couple of years, as Sean mentioned, us having the opportunity to collaborate around the world all these different initiatives. And I just wanted to share my excitement and my enthusiasm with everybody. I'm fired up. I've been with the company for 23 years. And the thought that keeps popping in my head as I heard Sean share all of everything that's being worked on and everything that's being rolled out right now. For years, I've said it, I've heard it said, the phrase, the best is yet to come. And it's a phrase we use a lot. And as I'm hearing this, I'm like, it's happening right now. Like, it's not yet to come. We are in it. It is now. When you start to look at that list of what Sean shared in terms of, our 50 years, so a solid company, 50 years anniversary this year, simplified business plan, simplified comp plan, simplified point of sale with product pricing, all that underpinned with this incredible appetite to improve everything digitally, and in collaboration with field partners around the world and offices around the world. Never in my 20 plus years have I seen such a level of collaboration and excitement and enthusiasm to just take this to a whole new level. And so, that expression of the best is yet to come is happening. We are all experiencing that as we roll into this new decade and into this new year. So I just wanted to share that enthusiasm. I'm excited to be here for this workshop. I'm excited to see all you guys. Can't wait to see everybody in Phoenix. I hope everyone's got their those dates in the calendar and airline tickets booked, and looking forward to seeing you all there. And I'll pass it over to Doug, who I know wants to share a few things as well.
Thanks, Stephen. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. It's good to finally meet faces. It's been a while since I've seen you guys in person, but Nick, Chrissy, I'm 30 years this year too, guys. And
Yeah.
What else? Sorry, Chris?
What?
Yeah, I said I'm 30 years as well, and I had a lot of good years with you and Nikki as we were traveling around together. I don't know what to add to these guys other than to share with you that in those 30 years, there's been several key inflection points in this company, but I've never seen a time when we've had so much resources and energy put behind things like simplification, things like modernization, things like expansion, and doing all of those at once. It's a first for the company. I'm excited about it. We've got the team in place. We've got the resources in place. It's execution time. And 2020 is going to be all about execution. So thank you very much for having me. Sean, thanks for inviting us down to the workshop. And everyone take care.
I got three of you sitting there. It's really sweet to think back 20-something years, how we all looked together, what was going on. And the fact that the energy between the three of you, clearly it's not just work. There's friendship, there's heart. And you can feel that, and it's really fun to see it. It's just sweet. It just makes my heart sing.
My brothers. You guys are my brothers.
I know. You guys are all the right heart, the right vision, and the right people doing great things. And
they're the ones leading the charge.
My last thought about this is, 30 years of experience with this company that's created a lifestyle that most people wouldn't believe, and easily another 30 years for more people to have the lifestyle they want to live, to amaze themselves with. So thank you for all that you guys are doing. We appreciate you to the core.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the trust.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask everybody to take themselves off mute and really they can unmute themselves and just give a really hearty, heat, warm thank you. Whatever one word.
Thank you. I love you, Sean.
You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hard work.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Quick question.